How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to another episode of Geeking Out, where we basically discuss everything nerd and geek related. Tonight, I'm joined here by Eekie and Jess, and we're doing another segment on Was It Worth Making? And tonight we will be doing a review for Season 1 of The Witcher, which is on Netflix. So, what were your guys' thoughts when you first heard that Netflix was making the series based off the book? Starting with Iki.
I lost my mind. I've been a big Witcher fan for years, so to me it was really exciting to hear that they were doing an adaptation of how does he pronounce his last name? I'm gonna butcher this. It's Polish. Sapkowski's
I
work. Um, Sapkowski's work. And I was really excited because that Geralt, that Geralt, that Yennefer, that Jaskier, they are, to me, those are the characters. That is their personality traits. That's, everything in there. So I was super excited when I heard that.
what about you, Jess? What were your thoughts when you heard that Netflix was making a Witcher series based off the book?
So I'm rather new to the Witcher fandom, but I'd kind of followed it a little bit throughout the years, just kind of seeing like video games, but I never actually got to play them. But when I found out that was happening, I was like, "Ooh, this is interesting." And then, yeah, and I know Erica's been a big fan of it, so I just kind of watched her excitement over it, and she helped me get a little bit more into it.
Nice. For me, I found out about The Witcher, of the sequel game, Assassin of Kings. That's how I found out about The Witcher. I didn't know what it was until that, and then I saw they're making. It's like, oh, they're making a show based off the game, and then it turned out, oh, it's based off the book. Well, I've never heard of the book before, but from what I've seen, apparently a lot of stuff in the show they took from the book. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've only read the first one, but yeah, there's definitely stuff that's right from the book.
Yeah. When I was doing a little bit more research for this podcast, I found out apparently back in 2002, there was an attempt, or there was, I'm not sure if it happened or if it didn't happen, but I guess back in 2002, I guess there was like a TV movie series or something that they were making or did make, which was kind of an introduction into The Witcher.
Yeah, so that was the Hexer, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
or the
Yeah,
Vatesman.
yeah, Hexer, I think it was.
Yep. And I never watched that. I mean, clearly it was 2002. I think I would have been like what, 12 at the time, so um there would have been really no way for me to see the show. Uh living in the United States, rural Montana at that time. But I'm
Wasn't
I want to watch it, but I'm terrified to even try. I'm,
wasn't it
I'm like,
released in Poland?
yeah.
Maybe I'm imagining things.
Yeah, it's a Polish series that I think there's been at the very least I know it's been released with English subtitles, but
It just
it got like a season.
it just sounds so bad. In my opinion, I get, early 2000s were the year to try to, turn books into movies. But that's for another time. So I'll start with Jess. What were your thoughts when you heard that Henry Cavill was going to be playing as Geralt of Rivia for this series?
Well, I was a newbie to Henry Cavill, and I have this strange aversion to DC, so this was kind of more of an introduction to him for. But I didn't really know the character until I did some more research into it and found out how much of a nerd he was about it, and that got me excited for it.
Yeah, dude, guy's a huge. I mean, builds his own PCs, plays Warhammer, pants his own Warhammer 40K figures. I mean, did his research on the show, did his research to to get ready for the parts. Like, dude's a big
Hmm.
fucking nerd.
Yeah,
Excuse my language, but fuck.
he is. It's great. It's great to have that aspect, someone who truly appreciates the character and the world and source material and all that.
Yeah. Same question for you, Iki. What were your thoughts when you heard Henry Cavill was cast as Geralt of Rivia for the live-action Witcher series for Netflix?
So I was also, when I first heard about it, I was a little tentative because I had only seen him in Man of Steel. Um, and at first I was like, okay, I mean, maybe he might have the chops, he's done blockbuster films. Uh, let's give him a shot. And then when they released that, um, God, it would have been, was it like a character teaser?
Oh yeah, the
It was
te-
it
the
was
te- the test footage where he was
the
like
test footage.
his hair looked. I'm so glad they
Yeah.
changed. I'm so glad they
Oh yeah,
changed
they
the.
changed everything.
I'm so glad.
But even when they released that test footage though, like I saw that and went, "Oh my God, he's Geralt." Like my brain
Remember
just
that.
went, yeah, my brain just went, "This is him." And I still remember like there were a ton of people that I know who are so adamantly against him being in that role.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "You guys know, like you don't understand. He is going to make the role.
Oh
Like
yeah.
this is the guy for the job."
I think people were just concerned because they thought that was going to be what his character looked like some kind of, and I don't mean this to offend anyone, like a low budget
Low budget
cosplay.
cosplay.
I mean, his outfit looked more like the video game version of Geralt,
Yes.
if I'm going to be honest.
Like original video game version,
Mm,
not Witcher 3, but like The
It
Witcher.
was a little too pristine.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad they went with this black armored cloth look. It suits, and then the hair is a lot better too.
The wig. The wig is much better.
Oh yeah, no,
Like,
I've seen so many people make those wigs now on Etsy. It's not even funny.
oh man.
So I guess the next, the premise, of this series, and it confused a lot of people. It confused me. I had to watch a second time to realize that each character has their own like timeline. Like Geralt has his before before meeting Ciri. Ciri has hers, which is set in the present, and then Yennefer has hers, which is like set before she meets Geralt. Like each story could at least eventually combines into like the finale.
Confusing as heck for me. I don't think I really understood that that's what was happening until like the fourth or fifth episode. And then it clicked. And I was like, oh, hey, that makes sense.
It took me a second watch through to figure out like there's. I'm just so glad I'm not to spoil anything for season two, but I'm so glad that they decided to keep the timeline like consistent and not show different, this and then this and then this and then back to this or back to that and then to that.
Hmm.
Hmm. I mean,
Made it a
not
lot more easy to watch.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
It did.
not quite spoiler. But the first episode in season 2 is actually part of the same book that all of season 1 is from.
The Last Wish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
One of the episodes, if I'm remembering correctly, it's the very first one. I think it's Grain of Truth is the short story in The Last Wish. That the first episode of season 2 is based off of. And I
Okay.
say I say based off of because there was a lot of um there was stuff in there that was not in the book, which season 2 definitely gears more towards that adaptation versus season 1 being a faithful adaptation. I think faithful adaptation would be the correct words to use.
And I know there's like a total of 8 books. So do you think it looks like they're adding? I mean, I know the game series is based off the books, but it looks like in this series they're taken from both the game and the book, which I know are kind of the same thing.
A bit. So the game series took quite a bit from. I mean, clearly it is the source material. So the game series took a lot from the books. And Project Red did an amazing job expanding upon it. And really building it out with additional Polish folklore, which is wonderful. Um, but for the most part, it's very very close. At least, like I said, season 1 is very close to um, the books. which is really awesome. But the producers and the directors did a really nice job just adding some modern touches to things, like with how snarky Jaskier is. He is still I mean, he's like that in the games, he's like that in the books, but having what is it? Is it Joey Beatty?
Joey
Play
Beatty.
play that role is just absolutely unreal. Like
They
he is
he is Husker,
my
yeah.
boy. Yeah, he is my boy.
I'm glad that also brings me to another question about another. What did you think the what did you think of the actress who played as Yennefer of Vengerberg in the series? I know she had a lot of shoes to fill, especially wearing those purple contacts as well.
I know for me, Jess, I'll go ahead and jump on that part.
Go for it. Yeah.
I originally was not the happiest with her casting. Um, I thought that she was way too pretty to play Yennefer. And that was a personal thing. Like, I felt that Yen, whereas she is described as being extremely beautiful, um, I wanted to see her be a little bit more gritty than what their casting was. But the actress,
Like how she was in the video game and books.
yeah, I wanted her to be more of a dark, scary necromancer type lady
Than just a pretty face.
rather than just the. I mean, she is a very high-powered sorceress. But I wanted to see. I don't know. I wanted a physical representation, and that's just me, like, versus what my brain imagined, versus the games versus the TV series.
Right.
But the actress herself, superb job. Like, she stepped into that role and she absolutely, like, just slayed it.
Nice. I just can't imagine having to wear, the purple contacts or the contacts that Henry Cavill wears, which I will say I'm glad they went with more those kind of eyes instead of the cat-like eyes you see in the video games.
Cat eyes, from personal experience, don't translate well with Witcher costumes, unless they're weighted. But that's a story for another time, as Jessa is well aware of
Yeah.
me being goat dad and not how I should look.
I guess one of the other characters is, since we talked about two of the main characters. What do you think of the actress who played as Cyrilla of Centria? Starting with Jess.
Um, I not really being all that familiar with the character originally. I was a little hesitant about the actress, like seeing her in the role, watching it, but she definitely grew on me, and she is a very talented young woman. I've seen her in a couple of other things now. But I feel like she kind of grew into it versus being immediately amazing, like perfect. But that's just my personal opinion. But I wasn't overly familiar with the character to begin with. I'm a newbie.
Same question for you, Iki. What were your thoughts on the actress and the role for Siri?
They did a pretty decent job with casting. Keeping her really meek to begin with, and then building into the strong lioness cub. Like that, to me, that was a big deal. Um, the one thing I will say though, and this is not on the actress, this is 100% on the makeup and costuming. Why did she not have eyebrows for the first season?
They,
Where were her
from what
eyebrows?
I've been told, apparently, they were bleached to match her hair color.
Uh,
From what I've looked into, I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate, but apparently season two, spoilers. The reason why her eyebrows are more natural looking, because I guess it was just took too much time bleaching the eyebrows, so that's why she has natural looking eyebrows in season two. Again, spoilers.
they look way better.
I didn't even pay attention to her eyebrows until I saw like a meme post on Facebook about it. It's like her season one eyebrows compared to her season two eyebrows, which okay, I kind of see.
It oh
It looked like she had no eyebrows if you like didn't really pay attention.
Yeah, it drove me absolutely nuts when I was watching it. Like, my wife heard me question why there was a lack of eyebrows through most of the series. Like, and I don't know why I hyperfixated on that of all things, But that was my one knock the whole time I was. No, one of two knocks. There was another knock on it, but I'm sure we'll talk about that part.
Oh yeah, and this is also the first time I ever found out how Geralt got his nickname, the Butcher of Blaviken. I will say it's probably my favorite scene in the in episode 1 of season 1.
Mhm.
Just so much blood and just they did not they didn't go light on the gore.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
But it was also done tastefully.
It was. I mean, compared to the second season, I'm just like, I'm so glad this is on Netflix because there's no way this could pass any other. I mean,
No.
maybe maybe HBO Max,
Yeah.
maybe Hulu, but
Showtime.
show definitely Showtime, um, but yeah, no, that's like, oh, so that's how he got his name, the Butcher of Blaviken. This is, he basically commits. I thought it's like he massacred an entire village, and then seeing what he did, to save Marilk from Renfrey, who I guess is a character in the book.
Mhm.
Okay. Um,
They call her the Shrike or something.
Yeah.
all I know is Strugabor was, and I have to say this, I have to say this, and I don't at me on it, but I felt like they made Strugabor a very sexist character.
Yes.
He's a bit of a jerk. Yeah.
It's just seeing how he is, and I'm guessing Strugabor's also a character in the books.
I think he is. Yes, Yes. I was like,
Okay.
that's the guy that Lars Mikkelsen plays in the movie or in the show, right?
I'm glad we have
Mhm.
I'm glad we have someone who's an expert on the books because my knowledge is only the TV show and the video games because I played both I've seen the entirety gameplay of the first game, played a bit of the second one, and play the entire third game minus the DLC. So that's where my knowledge stems from, and I've actually seen some references and nods to the video games.
Mhm.
And I found out Roach is a female horse. I thought Roach was always a male horse.
Mhm.
I mean,
All horses are roach. A roach is not defined by the single
I
horse.
thought that was just a name because I just thought that was a name because of the character Roach from the video game.
Oh, from Vernon? No. No, it roach is, I think it's Polish for fish or something like that.
Okay, well, it's a good thing we have an expert here.
I dive like I got way into Witcher lore. Like I love Polish and Slavic folklore and music and everything about it. So when I started reading this series, it was not just a like wean in, oh, this is cool. It was like I dove headfirst into the
Full
deep end of the swimming
immersion.
pool.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I remember watching some YouTube videos after The Witcher season 1 came out. A lot of people were nitpicking at certain things like, "Oh, the Striga doesn't look like that. Oh, Frangilla shouldn't be black or Foltest is too fat. He's not like that in the books." It's just like it's the TV show. It's based off of fiction. It is not real.
Exactly.
It's open to interpretation.
Exactly. I mean, I think Frangilla is an interesting character. I know we didn't really see much of her until close to the end of season 1 when we first got introduced to her. She was kind of that. Who's this character? Oh, she's a character who didn't know how to do the whole flower and rock thing, and her hand just turned all like decrepit and everything.
I'm doing it! Your hand. This is the balance.
Mhm.
Um, Before we go into more about the series, starting with just what's your favorite funny moment in The Witcher? Because I know in season 1 there's like a lot of funny moments, especially when Haskir is involved.
Oh gosh, my favorite is it's like ordering a pie and finding it has no
No
filling.
filling.
Oh, we are so having this conversation. Come on, Geralt, tell me, be honest. How's my singing?
It's like ordering a pie and finding it has no filling.
You need a nap.
Tell me, Geralt, how is my singing?
Like ordering a pie
Fine,
and
fine.
finding it
There's
has no
no filling.
filling.
I
I
would.
can't remember how many times I like sent
Uh,
that video to friends, just be like, this.
it's like ordering a pie and finding it has no filling. You need a nap.
That is my favorite part.
Oh, I think, and then the scene where Geralt just punches him right in the gut when they first meet. It's
Hmm.
just like, yes.
Come here.
Yeah.
Come here. Come here.
I know a lot of people just ship them. And I've seen like fan art of Geralt and Haskier. It's like, alrighty then.
Yeah. I see them as more of the older brother and younger brother kind of relationship.
Oh yeah, definitely. Uh,
They're
definitely.
just a couple of goobs. That's all I see in
Oh,
the
Yeah,
scene, and I'm like, look at
definitely.
those goobs.
they're 5-year-olds when they're together.
Right.
They are. Now on to the more about the makeup. With what did you think of when they showed Yennefer for the first time? I know she's part elf, so that explains why she was like all hunched and like deformed.
Hmm.
Does that come from the books? Because I know sometimes TV shows will like add things.
Yes. So Yennefer's whole thing in the books is that she actually like in the show she makes herself appear beautiful. But really,
After going through that whole like very
mhm.
graphic depicted scene.
But she is a quarter elf, and she normally was hunchbacked. Like her whole thing is she was hideous and not beautiful, and she made herself that. It was completely out of vanity, which is one of the reasons. Like to me, Yennefer, whereas the character's not one of my favorites, she is almost more human than everyone else is. At least like for a girl, she's very relatable and very human in that aspect, just the desire to fit in and the desire to be normal. And it was just really cool. I loved what they did, and the prosthetic use that they did for the actress was just phenomenal.
I know how like her face was kind of like her jaw was kind of to one side,
Hmm.
and then the hunchback, and then the scene itself is what kind of like. I mean, I know in reality they just basically took off the hunchback. She had her actual hair. They took off the bob cut with the bob wig and
Hmm.
everything. Um, yeah. What did you think, Jess? For so both of who which I know both of you are into cosplay and I imagine you use prosthetics. What did you think of the prosthetic and makeup work done to Yennefer before she went through her whole transformation scene?
I thought it was very well done. Because sometimes it's hard to do that and make it look real, but then a lot of that too is owed to the actress being able to pull it off. Because there are some people that they just look like, of course, it would be uncomfortable for someone to actually have those type of deformities, but being able to act and almost be natural in it, that was my take from it. Is she pulled it off very well. She captured it and she was able to make it.
Her own, basically.
Yeah.
So so what's I forget the name of Yennefer's quote unquote teacher. What was her name again?
I mean, there's a lot of
Oh,
them, but one of the other sorceresses, that
The one who originally called her Piglet.
oh shit.
can't
See,
remember her name.
I know I'm blanking on what her name is because she's not a not a character I like.
I know
Start
she.
with an M.
I know she's like a motherly figure to Yennefer.
Yeah. Uh,
Um,
uh, uh, uh,
I'm gonna have to look that up.
it's not.
I'm totally googling.
I'm doing it too. While I'm doing that, who would you say like? And I know everyone has like their least favorite character, and this is not like any crap on the actor, but who would you say aside from that? Starting with you, Iki, who would you say your least favorite character is? Like, it's a character they could have done more with in the show during season 1.
Well, that's tough.
I I'll start first. And no disrespect to the character, because I love her character in the video game. I feel like in season 1, um, Trish Marigold, I felt like
Yeah.
her character was felt flat. Like I think it's just because they didn't really show her enough, or it's just it didn't yell Trish to me. It's like, oh wait, that's Trish.
Hmm.
Okay, that's cool.
I I would say I think that they did Triss dirty in season one. I really do. Uh, Triss is my girl. She is like one of my absolute diehard favorite characters in the whole show, in the whole book series, whole show, whole everything. Um, boy, that's that's tough because aside from that, like I know I kind of wish they would have dove into the sorceresses in general just a little bit more and really expanded all of them out. Um, because there are more um, sorceresses and more court mages uh, within the world that I would have loved to see more explanation on prior to the final episode of season one.
Right. And the Trish's the sorceress who buys off Yennefer. Her name is Tisea.
Tisaya.
Yeah, played by Mayanna Buring.
Ooh. But I would have really liked more payoff for that. It's been a while since I've seen season one, but I would have loved to see more of the sorceresses. So like I would have loved to see more of Francesca, more of was it it's and everyone's gonna laugh because it's like Sabrina's not in that series, but yes, Sabrina is a sorceress in the Witcher series. Um, not the Teenage Witch, not the Netflix
I know it's
one,
just
but she's
kind of
still Netflix. I know.
it's the
Um,
name, but I'd imagine Sabrina
and
was a character in the books.
yes, and Philippa as well. I loved Philippa Eilhart in the books and the games. Um, so I would have loved to see more of her. But we do see her more in season two.
Oh
So
yeah. Uh,
I'm I'm getting my payoff, just not as quickly as I wanted.
yeah, that's totally understandable. I know another character, I guess, because I know he's also, I believe, in season two. We first meet him in season one when Geralt's asked to go take care of like a quote unquote beast, which turns out to be a fawn. It's Philivandril.
Hmm.
Um, what was he from? If you can remember, what was he like in the books compared to the show? If you can remember.
I remember that whole. I just remember that chunk, like just that story, for the King of the Elves, and it was. I mean, I think they did a good job. That whole storyline, they did a pretty good job represent. And I'm like, it's hard to either say short story or chapter. So if I swap between the two, just because of the book that it was in, um, but they did it. I thought they did a very good job, and I thought the actors who were in that were really good. The guy that they cast for the role of the last King of the Elves he did a great job.
I really have to I really have to give props on the make, especially to the elf characters. It's not always easy to make elf ears, especially if it's just a background elf character.
Hmm.
But I could like I don't know what it is, but like anytime I see prosthetics, if it doesn't look great or wigs, I always want to nitpick. Because like, oh, I see the wig line, or that one ear is like bent out of shape, like, aside from the other ear.
Hmm. No, I thought that they did a good job, and they really held um how the elves act. Like I felt like they just really portrayed just in general the whole elven culture within the Witcher series. Um, Everyone who plays a part within that in the elven race and they did such a good job of portraying like just the discrimination that happens, how people are treated. I just thought they all did real great. They really owned their roles.
I know, I wholeheartedly agree. Um, now for Jess, what would you say your favorite episode is out of the entire season one?
Oh, um, hmm. gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but it was the one with the gin. I just felt like, I mean, yeah, it has the pie line in it, so it's a given, but I feel like it showed range for
Ooh.
a lot of the people in it.
Oh yeah, the wish between the one with the wish between Geralt and Yennefer, where they basically make it to where they always run into each other and how they're quote unquote supposed to be meant to be.
Right.
I know, like in the game, in the Witcher 3, there's a side quest where you can find that the original Jinn to break that wish.
Yeah, one of these days I'll play the games.
Same question for you, Iki. Favorite episode from season one?
Mm, That's tough. I'm gonna have to say probably uh hmm, probably the Dragon Hunt one.
Oh, where we meet Ziggurin,
Yeah.
and the dwarves.
Yes. I love the dwarves.
Now, was he a character in the books, or was that something they added to the show? Because again, I'm
So
not familiar with.
that that I don't remember.
I know he's
Um,
loosely based off the Geralt dwarven friend that I originally heard of seeing in the sequel
in the
game.
yeah, he's based. I know for sure he's based off of the ones in the games. I believe he's in the books. Like 90% sure that he is, or it's another dwarf.
I know the dwarf I'm thinking is the one who has the mohawk,
Yeah,
Geralt's
yeah,
friend.
yeah. I know he does show up as a side character throughout the series. I don't know if it's the same one though. Zigan. I think it is. I think it is the same one.
There's still like a lot I'm still learning
There's
about.
so many. Yeah, there's so many different characters. I'm like trying to keep everything straight
Um,
because they changed names. So like between the games and the books slash Netflix adaptations, they changed the names of some of the characters. As I'm sure you're aware of, Jaskier is Dandelion in the U.S. releases. Um, it's just different translation. It's not Zoltan, is it?
Zoltan is Geralt's dwarven friend who has
That's
the
the friend, yeah.
mohawk.
So Zigrin is who we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I imagine Ziggurin is loosely based off of Zoltan.
Um, I think Zigrin might actually be in the books. I'm double checking.
Ziggurin
He might
Witcher.
not be.
Um, Yarpen Ziggurin, Blood of Elves. Yarpen Ziggurin was a
Yep,
well-known dwarven adventurer. He was a
and Blood of
lead
Elves.
Blood of Elves.
Yep,
Okay, so yeah,
yep.
he's
Yeah, because I was gonna say he takes a bigger role in what's technically book one
yeah, he
of the series.
looking at his video game version compared to his I mean, I of course I know they're not going to look as accurate as their, video game counterparts or book counterparts, with, like for example, Frangilla or King Full Test.
hmm But I liked him. He was pretty funny. I love all the dwarves though. I can't complain about them. They remind me of a lot of like forester type people, and being from Montana and around foresters all the time. No offense to anyone who's listening that might be. Um, it just the personalities and how people act is it reminds me of home. I feel very at home with dwarves. I'm sure that Jess can attest to that.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
very much so.
Now I'm hoping when we get see more seasons, because I know in season one, Skellig is mentioned. I'm hoping eventually. I mean, I know we're talking about season one, but I'm hoping we actually get to see Skellig in one of the later seasons.
God, I hope that
Because
they do it because
I know it's mentioned in the first season when we hear Ciri's grandmother talk about how the ships from Skellig were destroyed, and we find out later that it was Frangilla who destroyed those ships during that battle with Nilfgaard. and Centria?
I think that we should. My guess is we're going to end up seeing them in the Netflix adaptation. Because they are a really big part of Cirilla's history, and how she learns to, where she spends her time. But I'm not sure if they're going to. Like, it's always so hard to say because even like say with season 2, they have already deviated. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but they have already deviated from the source material, which is what makes it an adaptation. Uh, so I'm not sure. I really hope they do though, because like Skellige is so fun. Like just the whole area and all the history and considering Ciri's grandmother was married to King Ice to Skellige, so
So would that be Ciri's grandfather then?
step grandfather,
Step
yes.
grandfather. Okay. Now there's one thing I'm very confused about, and it's still after watching season 2, I'm still like questioning the scene where Geralt stops Ciri's mother from just basically destroying that Great Hall. Was he the cause of getting Ciri's mother pregnant? Because I know he did like some weird spell thing, and that's when she threw up, and that's like when he just walked away and said "fuck." So I'm kind of confused because I know in the game and books, Ciri's father is apparently Emperor Emir.
So her adoptive father is Emperor Emir, her guardian. So her father, if I might be wrong on that though.
Because I'm just confused because after watching that scene where Geralt stops Ciri's mother from like destroying that great hall,
I
at,
thought Dooney was her father, or Dunny.
I don't know.
The hedgehog guy. I believe that is her actual father.
I'm just confused.
Um, Hold on, just double checking.
Because like I said, the whole scene where he does that weird his hand thing, and then she throws up immediately afterwards.
Oh, so Pavetta was already pregnant at that point.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because I thought like, wait, it's so
Yeah, it
Geralt's.
is. It is. Nope, it is Dunny's. Dooney. It's his child,
Okay.
which is what makes it uh not difficult. I mean, it was difficult, but it's one of the things that made it so intense when Pavetta Parvetta
I
Parvetta
I don't
Parvetta
know.
had her Siri's mother um ended up having her thing and then getting the law of surprise stuff
Yeah,
all happen.
that scene just confused the hell out of me.
Hmm.
Um, I guess the next question is, and I'll start with Jess first. What did you think of like the costume designs for the show? I guess starting with Geralt's black armor and black tunic shirt and just black everything.
Oh gosh, how much time do we have?
I just like
Um,
I guess from like like a cosplayer's perspective, someone who like
from a cosplayer's perspective.
yeah.
Whew. Well, so his fully studded black armor, I have kind of a minor obsession with studded gear. Always have, and that is one that I intend to make. But it, I found the costuming just in general to be phenomenal. The way that they crafted some of the clothes. Like if you go on Netflix, they have the whole like Witcher collection now where you can actually go in and watch behind the scenes and stuff. And I love all that stuff. I am obsessive with all the special features in movies. But seeing the techniques that they used and the design that was put into it, the studding, the leatherworking, just the details and everything makes I appreciate it so much. So much. And Erica can attest to how obsessive I am with these kinds of things.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
I am.
Same question for you, Iki. What did you think on the costume, the outfits for the show? Since we talked about Geralt's, what did you think of Yennefer's design? Mainly her outfit we see when Geralt and Huskier meet her, where she's wearing that weird mask type thing during that orgy scene.
So I think, and this is, and people can at me, I don't care. I think her outfits are too modern. I'll be real.
They were really
Her,
quite more of the modern
yeah,
look.
they felt way too modern to me. And it's just compared to everyone else's outfits, just the styles, the cuts. And I understand that she is supposed to be like a sex appeal character. That's how she's marketed. That's how she's designed. I get it. But just some of them they're so avant-garde. Like namely, my biggest example is that last dress, that like the rope cording dress or whatever. I was just like, what is she wearing? What is this? Like, it's amazing, and I'm not knocking on the fact that wow, that took a lot of skill to make, but you know, I felt that her costume choices for when she is a sorceress versus when she is still in her hunchback form are a little questionable.
Very much out of place.
Yeah, it feels out of place, out of time for me. Um, and like I said, that's just my opinion, but the costuming is beautiful, like absolutely beautiful for it. And I will say, not spoilers, but season 2, you do see um more of a fitting wardrobe
Hmm.
for
Oh yeah,
her.
no, you see a
Yeah.
lot. At season 2, you see a lot for a lot of the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Again, I'm not gonna spoil it. That season 2 review probably won't be done till like later down the road.
Yeah.
Once I feel like everyone's watched it and formed their own opinion, then it will go delve down that because there's a lot I want to talk about season 2. But
Yeah.
I gotta wait. I gotta do the same thing with Arcane.
Arcane is good. Why are you waiting? That's a different topic.
I know. I think one of my favorite things. I figure we'll like add like another 10-20 minutes to this. I think one of my
Mhm.
favorite things about season 1, and I mentioned this before, and this is someone who's a fan of horror and everything, and played a lot of hack and slash games. The special effects on like the scars, the blood, the burn,
So
everything
good.
is top notch, especially for a TV series. The CGI
Hmm.
isn't bad. The special effects from the CGI to the props to the prosthetics to the blood and guts are spot on. You can tell they did their best to not use a whole lot of CGI, only when it was needed.
Mhm.
For example, um, the Striga that Geralt fights, Full Test's daughters, um, the the scene where she's like slowly changing back is well done, I
No, they
think.
did they did an absolutely superb job with the visual effects. And I mean, coming from more of like a animation and illustration videography side of things, the way that they did it too in choosing the different camera angles, doing um just the feel, the color schemes, everything that they did really lent to it. Um they just did an amazing job.
Oh no, I agree. And this is one of many shows where I say keeping the dark tone throughout the entirety is probably is a good thing.
Yeah, agreed.
They didn't do it too dark. Are we talking about cinematography?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, they didn't do it too dark because there's some movies where there's like so much going on and you can't see a damn thing because it's so dark.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still see what's going on, but it's still got that dark tone, which I like because that's one of my biggest pet peeves about a certain movie. But I'm not going to go into that.
Oh no.
But no.
Um, and another on the topic of makeup, um, one of my favorite things, especially was in the first episode of season 1, when Geralt's fighting that Kikimora when he drinks his
Mhm.
elixir. would that be a combination of CGI and special effects makeup? You think, or would they actually had Henry Cavill wear full on black contact lenses?
Scalera. So if you look at, and this part I don't actually know because I didn't dive into doing any research on it. If you look at pictures, it does look like he is wearing scaleras because you can still see some of the whites of his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm not sure because a lot of times they will not have actors wear those types of lenses. It's not comfortable.
I haven't done any research, but based on the fact that Henry Cavill slept in his yellow contacts, I'm pretty sure he wore the scleras.
Wait, he slept. Wait, he slept with the contacts.
Yes. He didn't want to take them out. He was so obsessed and so
He
in
was
character
he
that
was
he
so
wouldn't take them out.
he was fully committed.
He he actually scratched his cornea.
Oh well, I mean, contact lenses, even from a cosplay point of view. I mean, I've never worn contacts or color contacts for that matter. I know you have to be careful where like I know there's like a duration of wearing. I mean, I'm sure you both who
8
are.
hours, I think.
Yeah, sure.
I
There's a
can't.
duration. Yep.
I can't imagine how many contact lenses were on the side somewhere. Like after 8 hours, like, okay, Henry, it's time for you to take those ones out and put these ones in. Did
I'm over here just like, yeah, sure, we can. Yeah, there's a limit.
did series actress did she have to wear contact lenses or were those her natural eyes?
I think she has that blue-gray eye naturally.
The reason why I ask is for anyone who's seen the trailer for season 2, it looks like she's wearing contact lenses, so I'm like kind of confused.
Um, you
There
haven't seen all of season 2 yet, have you?
I have.
You have. Okay. I think that might just be like editing on that aspect, but I can see why you would say that. I mean, she might be wearing contacts because she gets that
is
kind of
this
like dazed look.
is
I'm
That
this
just,
that
Yennefer?
no,
Siri.
Freya
Oh,
Allen.
sorry, yeah. No, she's wearing contacts.
Okay, because
100%.
I couldn't tell. It's because we don't really. I mean, I again, I'm someone when I watch a TV show, especially um, Witcher. I notice those tiny little details. Like for example, Geralt's, Henry's wig for Geralt. It's better than what they had in the test footage, which was some like. I remember people making a joke saying, "Oh, how he looks like rated for Mortal Kombat. He looks like rated for Mortal Kombat." It's like I'm looking at the wig. It's like that looks like the wig from the video game. I'm glad they went with more of a silver wig than a white wig because I know sometimes white wigs don't always do well, especially for younger actors.
No.
Hmm.
They don't translate very well unless they're done just right.
Yeah. What did you? I think I asked this. What did you think of this wig that they used for Geralt?
I
Uh,
want it.
I want it.
I mean,
Uh,
unless you're willing to pay like $200 or $300 on Etsy for one,
I
or
mean, I mean,
just buy one off of Amazon and just style it and do the ponytail thing in the back.
yeah. So as someone
Mhm.
who's done a Genderbend Geralt before, um, I will say that they did a superb job with this wig. Just with blending it because it is most definitely a lace front wig that they're using
Oh,
for it.
you can tell,
Um,
and I know he has like.
but they did a superb job with ventilating out the hairline and with actually like blending in the lace portion to his head. Uh,
Mhm.
I just
I imagine that's not easy always because I've seen in some like movies or even TV shows where you can like if you pause and look real close you can see the lace front line like there
Mhm.
you can definitely tell they're wearing a wig, but Geralt, I mean Henry's character, it's like they did a really good job, and I like the different. I know they had different wigs. I know there's the one that he wears after he fights the Striga, and his hair is like and it's like it's not in the ponytail and it just looks so weird and everything. And then there's the one he wears to that ceremony where that
Mhm.
Ciri's grandmother's holding before she's born.
Yeah, there's definitely multiples, but the one that we see him in, I like it. I think it's great. And
I can't imagine how many wigs they have for that one.
I
Probably
can't.
have somewhere in the area of like 2 dozen or so because of how much like him doing his own stunts.
Wait, he does
Mhm.
his
I
own
can
stunt.
imagine that he just
Wait, he does his own stunts?
yeah.
Damn, dude. What else? What? Fuck.
No, he loves this series probably more than any other person on the
Yeah.
planet.
I mean,
Yeah.
fuck. Excuse my language, but
He's
goddamn.
he's very devoted and committed to the character and the
I
series.
will say the dude is ripped. Because when we
He
see
is.
like,
Mhm.
I know we see it. I mean, I have to say, the series does not, skip on the nudity, especially the orgy scene when we see Yennefer being introduced to Huskier and Geralt. And again, we see a lot of I think we see more shirtless dudes than shirtless women in the series. I'm not complaining. I'm really not. They like I get it. Henry Cavill. They want. I'm not sure if it's Henry or the producers, but I know like everyone likes to see a shirtless man, especially when it comes to a show like this.
We never get this. Let the shirtless men rise. What's
Especially
happening now?
the nerdy ones. The ones, yeah, I have problems.
Now, and I didn't pay attention to too much of it. Did Henry's Cavill did his character have any like the scars we always hear about Geralt having? Because I know Geralt
So
like has a bunch of
since
scars
since
supposedly.
it's since it's book one, he has some of the scars, but not all of them. Or well, book one, a prologue book one and prologue book two, because
Okay.
it's Sword of Destiny and The Last Wish. Um, but so he has some of them, but he doesn't have all of them. Most of his scars come further through the series.
Yeah, because I remember like seeing the game and we saw like shirtless moments of Geralt. He has like the bite mark, the scratch mark, a cut,
Hmm.
the scar below his eye,
Hmm.
which
And some of the stuff too, um, he does get as he fights later on.
oh yeah, no, I again the 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 prosthetic work again is really well done.
Hmm.
They
Uh,
didn't really skimp on anything. I
and
mean, the
no, they didn't.
CGI sometimes you can kind of
You can I
tell,
mean
but
I will
the
say they
traditional effects.
say the one place they skimped, and I'm sure everyone can agree with me, is the Nilfgaardian armor in season one.
Oh my god!
They skimped on that. I will knock that till the day I
I
die.
I
I
I
like the
I I've
pants.
I looked at it. It looks like I'm not saying it looks like store bought armor, but I feel like someone can easily make that and spray paint it. I will say they did a good job on Kahira's armor, though. The one who
Oh
was
yeah,
the black
but
armor with a long ass fucking feather.
the standard, like the standard armor, literally looks like,
It
in my
looks
opinion,
it looks
it looks
like
like a garbage bag.
it looks like he
It
can go.
looks
It
like
looks like he can
dollar
like
store Halloween costume.
and
Yeah.
you just basically spray. I mean, well, I come to realize when it comes to like certain background characters, they get away with it because they're like, well, this character's not important. We're not really going to see this character, or we're going to kill this character off. They did the same thing in Star Wars. When they ran out of certain materials, they're like, okay, well, let's just use this because you're not really an important character. You're going to die. You're not going to be seen until like later on, and then you got your somewhat important characters that you'll see here and there. They kind of do a good job, but when it's like your main characters, like okay, we're gonna spend our time and money on you, but you guys, screw you guys. You're just gonna get like a cheap something that you could like 3D print or something. I mean, I'm not trying to
I mean,
harp on
I mean,
3D printers or anything.
for me, it was just like the Nilfgaardians are supposed to be
Menacing,
the menacing, the antagonists. You want, and I'm a sucker for a good villain. And for a good villain, in my opinion, you need to have that costume. You need to have that look. And
like Kahir or Frangilla.
exactly. Whereas with this, I just was laughing the whole time because I was like, this doesn't even look, I mean, even historically, this doesn't even look like historical armor.
Mm-mm.
Like, what?
Kind of looks like they were trying to go like otherworldly almost, and it did not translate well.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's I can't imagine what this show's budget was to begin with. I imagine they weren't even thinking, honestly, that this this series would get a sequel, get a animated prequel movie, and then get a prequel to, that's set 1,200 years before The Witcher.
Yeah, but Netflix one has money. Like I do,
Yeah,
this is my argument. This is my arguing point. Like
okay.
this is one of those sticking points for me because I watch a lot of really bad B-rate movies, like B-rate movies, B-rate TV shows. Armor from those should not look better. Shit, as a cosplayer, armor that I make out of craft foam should not look better than that.
I mean,
Like, end of story.
look and not and okay. I know that we're gonna probably say spoilers a lot for season 2. I didn't really notice it, the Nilfgaard's armor in season 1, but looking at season 2, it looks it looks like it's made from cheap plastic.
It does look
Hmm.
like it's made from cheap plastic.
Cheap?
However, it doesn't look like a garbage bag.
No. I will say I did like Kahir's armor though, especially that 2-foot feather on top of his helmet. Now, I take it Kahir's another character from the books.
Hmm.
Okay. Like I said, I'm learning as I go with this show. Eventually, I do want to get the books, but like I said, so far during this review, you're like are the expert, so to speak.
Hmm.
Kinda. I don't. I
Again,
don't call myself an expert. I call myself a rabbit fan.
oh well, that too. Like I said, my you know my knowledge stems from the video games and
Hmm.
from what I've been watching on this show. Um, I guess before we end this, a few more things. Any last minute notes or anything you'd like to add before we deliberate on if this show is worth making or not?
Uh,
Starting with Eekie.
my only thing is I just want to point out for people who have not maybe seen season 2 yet, but I'm sure by the time this comes out people have, is hold out for your girl Triss. That's my only thing. Just
Hmm.
hold out for your girl Triss because
Sh-
she becomes our girl Triss. Hold out for her.
I have to agree on that. I feel like season 2 Trish is better than season 1 Trish.
She's my girl.
Um, Jess, any last minute notes you would like to add before we deliberate on if this show was worth making or not?
So from like I don't know, I'm a big like movie person and behind the scenes, like I said before, from technical standpoints and from story progression, I think people definitely need to give it a chance and not just kind of, because I know some people are like, oh, I couldn't get into the first episode.
No, I
Like, you
mean,
kind of got to watch it a little bit more.
I mean, it happens. There's like you see one episode it's like, oh, this is and it's stupid, or I can't get into this, or they hear what other people say and don't watch it for themselves.
Hmm. And another thing is with the characters, you get their stories, and you also, I didn't like Yennefer at first at all. I
That's
did not
that
like her
that
character.
that that's I'm sure a
But
lot of people will agree with you.
yeah, but as the season progressed and just kind of getting to know her and seeing her struggles and her demons and everything else, I do enjoy her as a character. So it's like you kind of have to give it that time to grow, and people need to take that into account if they watch the first episode and they're like, eh. It's like you get to know them.
Oh yeah, no, especially towards more, especially close, especially at season 1, at the end of season 1.
Hmm.
I had more magic respect for, especially when she casted that whole fire spell to help win the war.
Yeah,
That battle, I should say.
mad props.
Yeah,
Hmm.
no, definitely. Um, I think that's it. I mean, I'm looking forward to doing a review on season, 2. I know, I just, you know, wanted to do this because I've been wanting to do a review on this show for a while now, and since season 2 came out, it's like, okay, now I can do this. Iki, yes or no? Was The Witcher season 1, just the series itself, was it worth making?
Think so. It's given a lot of people a new insight into just a fantasy world that it feels familiar but new all at the same time. And it really opens up people to wanting to investigate a new, like, even just book series or game series. Like, it really re-sparked the entire franchise, and just breathed new life into it. So I think absolutely it was worth it.
Jess, same question. Was season one of The Witcher, the Netflix series, was it worth making?
I think so. I agree on various different fronts. Like Eric said, introducing people to a new world. But that was really cool because for the last like what 10 years, it was all about Game of Thrones. I never got into that. So this is like,
No, no, no. We don't talk about Game of Thrones. I've never watched it. I never will
me
watch it. I'm
neither.
sorry. It's just,
Me neither.
and I got nothing against George R. R. Martin, but when you start going, when you start going off the rail and not want to go more based off the books and just do your own thing, it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, your show may be doomed to fail if you're gonna do your
Yeah.
own
Book
thing.
hasn't even come out yet. You're already making the end of it. Doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
no. From what I heard, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but from what I've seen on posts and everything online, it seems like Henry Cavill may be on board for a couple more, like 7 more seasons.
Yeah. That's I saw that. He's totally committed to that. I think it was a 7-year plan or 7-season plan that the showrunner has.
So
So
there's also and there's a lot in the books, and there's a total of 8 books. So you have enough source material as long as Netflix stays consistent. Because I know Netflix sometimes has those series where it's good, people love it, but they fear, oh, well, yeah, we don't like how this show's doing well. We got to cancel it quick and just leave it on a cliffhanger.
yeah,
Mhm.
let's not talk about canceling series before their end.
And just I'm just saying the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance deserved a second season.
Oh, yes, it did.
Which will be another series to talk about. Me personally, yes, I think it was worth making. Take take it with a grain of salt. Don't be those kind of people to hate on it and post about it saying, "Oh, it's not worth it. It's not. It's stupid. It's not worth watching." It's like it could be better. It's like, okay, well, you go make a series then. Go make
Yeah.
a go make a
Mhm.
go make a hit series, and then then let people, and then you'll have people crap on it. I honestly think, in my opinion, it's good. Watch it yourself. See what you think of it. Don't listen to others saying it's bad. That's the one thing I will say about any TV show or movie. Take it as it is. Watch it yourself. That's all I can
Hmm.
say. Don't listen to my opinion. We're just forming our own opinions on this series. Watch it.
100%.
Watch it yourself. That's what this podcast series is for. Is we express our opinions, what we think of the show, if we think it's worth making or not. Like I said, form your own opinion. I know there's been a bunch of reviews on The Witcher from when I first was watching. I think at least a good chunk of YouTube videos where people just nitpicking at it.
Hmm.
There was a lot more negative than positive things to say. Personally, yeah, I can see what they're talking about, but at the same time, I'm not gonna like make this and say, oh wait, don't watch it. It's stupid. It in my opinion, it's
Yeah.
worth watching. But that again,
That's
just our
Mhm.
opinion.
that, that's part of the reason I personally don't like reading reviews because that's all it is. It's just taking a big fat crap on everything.
Yeah, that's why I would never.
So,
That's why I never would want to be a movie critic because their
no.
opinions are horseshit.
Hmm.
Their opinions are like pies with
That's
and
a
fun.
nice way of putting it.
A critic, and to quote Geralt, a critic's opinion is like a pie without when fun and it has no filling.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Just saying
Yes.
that's my response. Your criticism is a pie if I find out there's no filling.
Some people are going to like something, other people are not. Don't spoil it for everybody else. Let people form their own opinions.
Mhm.
Exactly. Well, I think that should do it. Again, Eekie and Jess, thank you for coming on to this episode of Was It Worth Making and talking about Netflix season 1 of The Witcher. Eventually, I will be doing a review on season 2 once more people have watched it. And yeah, and then also eventually I will be doing a review on Nightmare of the Wolf, the animated the anime prequel movie to The Witcher TV show.
I need to watch that one.
It's worth it.
Same.
Again, I'm Win the Unknown. Thank you for listening to this podcast, and as always, thank you for watching.